Christmas tree. Often it's the last thing we do, but it's so important. It's the centre of Christmas within our home. It's where the presents sit, it's where everyone congregates, it's what the children look at longingly days before Christmas. I'm not taking the mick when I say that with a tree, it's about location, location, location. Until you know where your tree is going to go, you can't really know what size it'll be or the colour scheme. No one can afford to have a completely new set of Christmas decorations every year, but you can change your theme. We're going to have a lavender themed tree, which is really pretty and means you head more for the purples and the pinks and the greens, with popcorn, garlands and all sorts of bits and bobs.
The humble Christmas tree has come a long way. The first artificial ones were made of goose feathers. Now they come in all shapes and hues. They come in all sizes to fit all rooms. There are even some that come ready-made. Voila!
Decorating your tree is an art, and where there's an art, there's craft.
First things first, lights. So pretty, and if they're LED, which uses 90% less electricity, then they're energy saving too. Next, the garlands. Popcorn garlands were a real favourite of the Victorians. And then you can fill the branches with the decorations that make your tree special.
There we are, it all looks lovely. The final touches are on. It's all happy and calm.
Oh, and don't forget the most important decoration of all. Something else is all too easy to forget is the wreath for the door. There's a lot of choice out there, from traditional to minimal, but you could also have fun and save cash if you make your own.
In keeping with our lavender theme, this is a lavender, rosemary and rosehip wreath. It's a modern take on a wreath. It's also a lot easier to make. You can do it, I promise you, in 15 minutes. All you need is some rose hips. These really add colour, so if you can't find rose hips, anything which adds a bit of colour to the wreath. Dried lavender and rosemary. Your short-bladed scissors or secateurs and some twine, and then for your final flourish, some ribbon or indeed some raffia. You start off with your rosemary. Now what I've got here is one big section and two smaller sections. So what I want to do is make it look as bushy as possible. It's much, much easier to do anything like this with wire rather than string, because instead of tying it in a knot, you just twist it. So now you've got your rose hips. What you're doing is you're weaving the rosemary and the rose hips together so that the colour of the red is dispersed between the rosemary. Always remember, with anything like this, you want it to look bushy, generous and festive. You're the boss. Never be afraid of these things. It took me quite a long while to learn that you can actually make anything do what you want it to do. As you're doing things, always change your angle. Remember that you're visiting the wreath, seeing the wreath up on the door. So hold it away from you, have a look at it, see how it's going. Then you just pop your lavender on top like that. Keep it lower down, because with lavender you've got a lot of stalk. Now what I've done here is taken a few of the rose hip, well, they're not berries, they're actually rose hips, and that is going to be a decorative detail there. Cut a new piece and you really pull it tight, because remember, this is going to be on your front door, and every time it's opened and closed it's going to get jolted, so you don't want bits coming out all the time. Now there we are. Now if I just hold it by one stalk, see, that's not going anywhere. This is the posh ribbon, the wired ribbon. The way to tie your bow is as follows. Do you see your knot? And then what you'll see is you have a lower and an upper, and that's the key to tying good ribbons. You loop the lower and you wind the upper one around, and then that means you will have a bow which won't twist. It'll stay like that. Do a bit of a securing knot, just because I know that some under four will walk past the wreath and pull at the ribbon just for kicks. There we are. It's a rustic looking wreath. It's not supposed to be perfect, and it's certainly not supposed to be symmetrical. It's about the scent and the colour and the celebratory feel. I don't think it needs any tweaking. There we are. Merry Christmas.